Oh my gosh, we're getting started. I'm
Okay.
clicking the live button now. And this is the San Carlos Computer Club. I'm Scott Stimson from International Computer Solutions, trying to run this whole thing off my new Macintosh. And the things that do work are amazingly fast. I feel like I've got plenty of computer to do whatever I want. The things that aren't working, though, are driving me crazy. And what I just realized right before I hit the stream button is that none of your audio was going out. And so I'd started recording for the podcast or at least for posterity, but all I was recording was myself, none of your conversation. And I just figured it out in the last second. And so now there is audio. We're out on the YouTube stream. We can hear both you, myself as well as all of you. And as long as there are certain things, there are literally things on my screen that I can't touch that I'm so used to touching
Hello.
that I'm gonna break something if I touch it.
Well, and the controls are very different on a Mac than you were probably used to when you were doing it before, because when you guys are talking about different kinds of controls that you can access, uh, working on my iPad for sure, I don't have those controls.
Yeah,
So
the mobile apps really do have different controls on them.
yes.
In this case, I'm running this recording software, this software that allows me to rebroadcast back to you, yourselves, and myself. This software is called OBS, and it's at version 27. It's been around for a while, but they don't have a native version for the new M1 or M2 Macintoshes. And so it's running right now as you're looking at me and yourselves. It is running as a interpretation. It's the old program that would run on the old Macintosh, the old chipset, that Intel chipset, and then it's using that Rosetta software to interpret what the computer's supposed to do and feed the what it's supposed to do instructions into the M1 to make it run on this new chip. And given that, as you think about that, it's actually very impressive what it's doing. I think it's doing it quite well. But what would work better in the long run, everybody knows, to have the software written specifically for the M1 chip. That's where you're going to see the most performance, the least amount of latency, whatever the software happens to be. I hope I'm coming through clear. And the other day, I have to apologize. We ran out of internet, which I think is ridiculous, especially having just an incredible amount of internet living in Mexico. Sorry, I'm going to reach up here and open a window. A little bit more light in here. But our internet provider gives us a bandwidth cap. Good morning, Jim. We're just getting started. They put a bandwidth cap on how much you can use monthly, and right in the middle, well, not even in the middle, like right when we were starting club last week, we ran out. It just tapered off to nothing. It goes from over 200 megabits a second down to less than 10 megabits a second down. And actually, for me doing this, it's all about going up. And normally it's over 20 megabits a second up. And last week, when we ran out, what they do is they throttle it to 2 megabits a second up. Which, if I'm the only one using internet, probably wouldn't be a problem. But I run a bed and breakfast, and so it was a problem. Everybody was fighting with each other, and that's why it fell apart last week. Good morning, Chester. We're just getting started.
Okay, let me.
I hope I'm coming through clear.
Okay. About 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This is my first attempt at holding this meeting and streaming online using this new Macintosh. And I'm very impressed so far. I was just explaining how the software I run, this OBS software I run, that allows me to put all of us on the screen and switch between different scenes and then rebroadcast it back to you as well as on YouTube. This software has not yet been written for the new Macintosh M1. And so and Apple knew that was going to happen when they released a different chip. And so they released Rosetta 2, which is their interpretation software. It's this layer. You talk about stacks of software. And you're taking this old software, this old Intel compiled software, and you're running it on top of Rosetta 2 so that it can talk to the M1, the new chip that these new Macintoshes are based on. And I was saying that given that that's what's going on, it's like having a middleman, a translator that's translating the older software to the new chip. And the new chip goes back to the translator and translates to the old software. And some things are working excellent, and other things I don't dare even touch. Things like Windows managers, the software I use. In fact, I can pop it up right here on the screen, and you can see the software. During this meeting, I'm because I am a little. I mean, I don't. I'm ADHD or ADD. and and I want to play with things. You guys know that. I'll be playing with things as we're talking. So I'm having to slap myself every time I want to touch something. But other than that, I think the picture's clear and the audio sounds good. What do you guys think? Thumbs up? Is it coming through good? All right. Well, I also, Yuya and family left yesterday, and I'm sorry, Judy, if you're saying something, you're on mute right now.
I just said, wow, they went back early. Is
Yeah.
school starting?
Yeah, school's starting, and that's why they need to get back. They weren't planning on being here more than a month. It's both school and it's really just our lifestyles have changed because Yuya, because of COVID, we ended up staying longer in Mexico, and so Yuya got into some work that just requires her to be there. She can't be away for more than a month without it just really inconveniencing who she's working for. And so we always planned for her to only be here a month. So we're back to Emily and myself running the bed and breakfast. For you folks, it may feel a lot faster than me because you've only been aware of it for like the last 4 weeks. But I've been living with 6 people in my house for a month. What were you going to say, Linda? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, and it's not computer related. Judy, did you ever meet Betty and her son?
Yes.
Okay, well, he passed away last week.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear
You met
that.
Betty and her son, Stephen?
Yes.
Scott?
Yeah, I feel like I did. I'm not remembering him at the moment, but it's sad to hear of anybody's son passing away.
Yeah, he was sick a long time. I don't exactly know what happened this time. So
oh wow.
They came, I don't even know if they've left Vegas now. They came, run down, then they were going back to Homer. So
oh wow.
I haven't exactly spoken to her in length to see what happened, but he did pass away.
I knew he was very sick, but I never knew what he was sick with, but I did know he was very sick.
Well, he had, amongst other things, besides Crohn's disease, he had a drug problem, and various other diseases.
Oh,
And he's
that's
had
sad.
many,
Sad for the,
many surgeries, lots of
yeah.
hospital stays. So anyway, he passed away last week.
Well,
That's it.
yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Yeah, he wasn't too old. I don't think he's what, in his 50s maybe?
I think he's 50 because I think his sister's 52.
Yeah, he was very young.
Mhm. So
Wow.
so I've really been practicing on the screenshot thing and finding things. It's
Okay.
working great.
This is now this is using the search with Lens, the Google Lens. Is that correct?
Yes, Google Lens. Working wonderful.
Have you found
Anything picture you want to save on any picture you want to save.
have you found any specific kind of searching that you would recommend? Is there something you've been really successful at?
Well, I'm on a lot of websites, decorating websites on Facebook, or decorating groups,
Yes.
and they post a lot of product and different stuff they find, and people are asking for things, or you see somebody post something that you like and you want to save it, like in your archives for
Right.
future. I mean, I found like lamps I like and different things, and I can save them, and then I participate in about 5 different home furnishings websites and decorating websites. So it works out good, but it works out good when you're looking at real estate too.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if you want to save something on a page, you can just take the screenshot of the page and save it. You don't have to write down a lot of stuff. And then you can just refer back to it and it's right there in front of you. You don't have to go back looking for it.
So
So
Linda,
this
you're
isn't
using,
searches. This is screen captures. I'm sorry, Judy.
but where are you saving these things that you can find
They-
it again?
They save right in the top of if you're using Google Photo or whatever photo you're using,
Uh-huh.
they save them in a special section right at the top called screenshots now.
Huh.
And funny thing you ask, because my phone just updated to Windows 13 or Google 13,
Yeah, Android 13.
and now the screenshot thing is all in there.
Cool.
They
I don't
changed
think
the
I
whole
have that.
Google 13.
My
Say that-
screenshots are kind of hard to find. They go into my photos. And
Yeah.
I think maybe if I made a separate like photo category, it would save it to there rather than mix it all in with all my photos, which
Well, they changed now, and they have just a screenshot. So if you go in there,
remember I have an iPhone, so I
I
would
was
have a
just
different-
thinking about that. I wonder if, because I run an iPhone now, an iPhone 11 Pro,
yeah.
and I wonder if, in fact, I'm curious to do it. I'm going to take a
Hey,
screenshot,
Sandy.
and I've got Google Photos on here as well.
Yeah, I do too.
I wonder if Google Photos is bright enough to figure out that that was a screenshot and put it in the category.
Well, there
that
was its
Linda's
own.
talking about.
Mine has now. My updated has now a screenshot category.
Yeah.
A box at the top that says screenshots.
Is this under your library or in the regular phones?
Under the library.
Under the library. So in library, I have favorites, utilities, archives, and trash. I also have most recent. Oh, everything's sorted by most recent, and my screenshot hasn't showed up yet.
Okay,
Which
so
which
mine
I'm sure I'm seeing. I'm sure it would be in my.
done. Okay, I can save my screenshot to photos or files. So if I made a folder in files that said screenshot,
So, yeah, my screenshot just showed up as a today picture, but it doesn't look like Google recognizes it as a screenshot. I mean, maybe it will with its AI. You know, its AI is always finding pictures and recommending that there's certain things like receipts, shots. I take pictures of things like model numbers on the back of devices. And periodically, Google will go through my photos and go, "Hey, would you like to archive these? These don't look like photos." Or quite specifically, "These look like receipts. Do you want to put these in a receipt folder?" And I wonder if it'll do that with screenshots as well.
Okay, well, in my library, it says photos on device. The first says camera. The second one says screenshots. The third one says WhatsApp. And the fourth one says messages.
So what that would be is the folders that those applications are storing media
Yep.
that your Google Photos program they have, or your gallery program has found on your device. There's
Yeah, my Google Photos.
yeah, Google Photos or your gallery program, whatever it might be on your Android device. It's both. Photos it would be standardized, but like if you have a Samsung, there's a different gallery program than if you have a Huawei. But they do the same thing. They scour your device for locations of photos, and then those locations are made available in that program. And there's typically a way for you to specify not to include a folder of photos. And we're talking about Android devices. This is very different from how an iPhone stores photos. But
Okay.
yeah, on an Android device, it's like everything is available to that program, and if you didn't want a folder to be included, you'd have to exclude it. And so somewhere in the program, there's typically this way to exclude folders from your photo view.
Oh,
But that's very interesting. Also, your screenshot application is typically on an Android device. It's typically tailored to the device. I actually haven't played with Android 13 yet, Linda, so you've got better experience than I do. It could be the newest version specifically sets them aside in a screenshot folder, or it could also be that's the way Samsung decided to do it, or Huawei decided to do that. What I see with the iPhone is it has not done something like that. And if I'm
well,
wrong, somebody correct me. But my screenshot just went straight into the photos gallery on the iPhone.
Well, I have an option on mine that says I could save it to a file, or a folder. So I created a new folder called screenshot, but can't find it.
okay, look, they also have an app now called Google Lens. So
Okay.
look up Google Lens in your Play Store.
Well,
Maybe
it
they
actually-
haven't put them on the iPhone.
Well, let's take a second and do that too, since we've been talking about Lens so much. It'd be interesting if they've got one for. I'm in the App Store on the
See?
iPhone right now.
Yeah, see, when I clicked on Google Lens, all of my screenshots came up.
Hmm.
So
Okay, I don't
maybe you
see
can.
an app for Google Lens, but you know what is in
Yep.
it is the Google Search app for iPhone includes a lens extension. I'm remembering this now from Android.
Yeah, but they have a separate Lens app.
Not in the App Store right now for the
Oh.
iPhone. It doesn't
Oh,
look like
okay.
it's there. But they
So
do
you
have the
can't-
Google program. And
You
that has
can't put Google Play on your
on an iPhone, no. It's it's
Oh.
a different framework. It's a different operating system.
Oh, okay.
And I'm looking here. There is a Search with your camera. Yeah, Google Lens is included in the Google app on your that's available in the App Store for your iPhone. I'm just setting it up right now.
Okay, so that's where all your screenshots are if you don't have them in your photos.
Well, I don't think that this is actually doing any of that kind of organization, Linda. I think that because it's Android and because it's Google, you've got a lot more features in what you're doing than what they've made available on the iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But very cool. Linda, we're gonna look forward to Android 13 updates from you from now on. Is anybody else on the latest Android? Nobody else has an Android phone that's running 13. I sure don't. The phone I upgraded from was Android 7. So I'm really behind on Android.
Well, let's see. I have the OnePlus 8.
The OnePlus 8?
Right. And it just upgraded to 13 like this last week.
This has been interesting for some of these. That OnePlus is a highly featured phone at a really reasonable price.
Well, I really like it, and I happen to have gotten it free from T-Mobile for 2 years.
Yeah, that's great.
But now they're
what's
telling you not
interesting
to
about
buy the
OnePlus
new.
is they've done a really good job of supporting their equipment.
Well, they tell you not to buy the new OnePlus 10.
Oh, why is that?
I don't know. They just say there's something with it. It isn't like the 8 or 9.
Who are they? Hey, Jim, good to see you.
CNET, different people on the internet, mostly CNET. I read a lot of CNET.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I can't believe I'm having a great experience over here running everything on this new computer. I see Cheryl's doing this. Does that mean things are having problems on your end?
Don't say that.
Oh,
Exactly.
You'll jinx it.
I am sorry. I feel just so comfortable and relaxed. Everything's working.
Hey, Sandy, you're quiet.
Hi, Mom.
Hi. Well, I know that if I once get started talking, you'll be sorry. Are you ready to change topics?
Sure.
Are we still on this topic?
Have you brought a tech topic? What do you got?
I have brought a tech topic. My tech topic comes from. Have you heard of this? Is it backwards for you? No. Have you got it?
Ember Labs. Okay, no, this is great. Go ahead, Mom.
Okay, so Ember Labs comes with a nice box, a place for something to go, and these are the directions. Not very thick, and they don't tell you a whole lot, but what you get is this, which seems kind of strange. This is, you may recognize as a charging, get it up here, you can see it, a charging pad. On the back of this are two little prongs that you can put it on. And this top part kind of looks like it should pop open like a watch does. It doesn't. It never opens. If I come around to this side, hopefully you can see that there are two buttons. These are your controls. So now I'll tell you what this is. This has recently been advertised for hot flashes, but it also has a side for warmth. And what it does is you put it on your wrist with this part down on this part of your wrist. Then when you turn it on, you see a light there? I don't know if it's blinking. Oh, is the light gone? Light's gone. Hang on. Well, actually, it does work. It's just not working this minute. Oh, wait, there we go. That's a little white blinking light. If you keep going, if you push it again, you'll either get a cold wave on your arm or you'll get a warm wave, depending on which you want. So we tried it on Yuya last night on the heat because she was cold. Finally, she says, oh, wow, ow, 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 and we had to take it off. Now, I don't know about the rest of her body. The idea is that whatever hits here is supposed to go through your whole body and give you the feeling of what you want to feel, either warmer or colder. I've tried it. I slept with it for part of one night on the cool because I tend to run hot. And I don't remember having any problems other than I took it off halfway through, I think, because it was just a different thing on my body when I sleep. We tried it on Yuya's mom. She really could feel the warmth as well as Yuya did, but then we went to the cold and she felt the cold too. Tried it on my husband. Oh, hell no, neither thing will work, hard or cold. So I either didn't get the button pushed right or he can't feel those things. But what I noticed, I put him on warm. What I noticed is both of his hands were warm, and he usually has very cold hands. So it's kind of an expensive item. I don't remember what it was, but we'll see if the longevity of it pays off, whether I can stay cooler when in Arizona and Mexico or not. That remains to be seen. But I wanted to share my new little toy with you. Questions?
I put a link to the website page, and it has pricing, and you can pay in 3 equal installments and all that kind of stuff. But they've got other devices too. They've got that one that looks like kind of like a watch, and then they've got rings and all kinds of things.
Yeah, I think it must be a fairly new company. I don't remember hearing of it before. How we first got it is my sister received a cup when she retired, which I kind of laughed at until I looked at the price of the cup, and I thought, well, that was a worthy gift. And what it does is maybe Scott, you can describe this better. It has the bottom.
It's a heated cup, so it's a smart cup. It's got a battery in it, and it's got a heating element, and it will keep your drink at a specific temperature. It's funny. It's Dad's story. He'll probably tell it at some point. But he was given this cup as a gift, and he hated the idea of having a coffee cup. The idea was that it would keep your drink warm, but it's a smart cup. You need an app with it. He hated the idea of using an app with his coffee cup. And so he was basically going to send it back, and that's a whole other story about Amazon and supporting their customers, where he ended up with the cup and a refund. And so we finally started messing around with it, and you use the app to set the temperature preferences that you would want for your drink. But it really is one of those, it's like an Internet of Things thing. You set the app and then you forget it. And so now, I think Mom is at the cup there. So it just sits and continues to keep his beverage at a very specific temperature. It's got a base that you set the cup on. It makes a physical contact with, there it is. If you turn that up, you should see some pins on it.
I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah,
there we go.
and you must be looking at the bottom. What's the top of it look like, Mom? Flip it over
where the
there.
cup sits.
Yeah, there's where the cup sits, and in that recess, you can see there's 2 little prongs. And then if you look at the bottom of the cup, there's 2 copper rings, or 2 golden rings. They're not copper, they've got to be gold. And so whenever he sets it on that base, it's recharging the battery. And so the only thing you actually use the Smart app for is to set your temperature preferences. Well, I guess you can also, I think he might have had some control over what color light he has too. But I mean, it really seems silly.
I'd like to have one of those.
Yeah, well, the execution of it's really good. Now, what he was trying to do was he was trying to regularly interact with the cup, and that's where it got weird because you have to have a Bluetooth connection with it. There isn't a lot of preferences to change, and so he was trying to set the temperature on it daily. But what he learned was that if he just stopped messing with it, you'd set the cup and stop messing with it, the cup would just maintain that temperature every day. He'd come, it's charged, fill it up with coffee, and throughout the time, it just continues to maintain the same temperature. It's very cool, Chester. It's working really well for him. But it's a good example of there isn't the right kind of explanation of what's going on with it. Like, he was totally put off by the idea of having a cup that had Bluetooth and would talk to an app on his phone. It just seemed like a lot of extra nonsense.
Does it turn off when the cup's empty?
Yes, it does. It actually auto senses whether it's full or not. And so it'll turn off. And as you can imagine, as you have less liquid, it's all monitoring the temperature. So as you've got less things to keep hot, it dials down the temperature so that it's keeping that same temperature that you're expecting. So throughout the beverage, it's all the same temperature.
So it's the same thing like using the vacuums. I have my vacuum set to go on it goes on in the middle of the night between Sunday and Monday.
Oh my gosh, that's one of our topics.
And runs around the house.
Is iRobot being bought by Amazon? Has anybody been paying attention to that?
Yep.
So they can track your house.
That's what the security experts are saying. This is crazy.
Really? They can map your whole house. They know where everything is in your house.
Yep.
I like how Amazon let them figure all that out before they decided to buy them. You know, Roomba has been, or iRobot has been systematically becoming much more sophisticated each year. They've got software. This is very true. They map it's part of their cleaning regiment is to map your rooms so that you can tell your robot which room you're in or which floor of your house you're in. So that it will.
So we've been doing this for years since we got our first vacuum cleaner with the iRobot thing. But who is they again? Who is they that gets to track my house?
Amazon.
Yeah, in this case, it was iRobot that was tracking your house. Yes. Not that all for the good of clean floors. It was creating maps that you would sync up to your cloud service. And so then you could take your robot, you could share your maps with other robots, you could take your robot to another floor in your house and it knows where it is. It's cleaning around the things. These things have become so sophisticated. Sure, you've got a better robot than I do. But my robot will just run headstrong over stuff to find out if it's there. And what that means is you adjust your lifestyle. You're like, we never put it there. That thing it's running over and breaking needs to be set up high because it's just... But these robots are much more sophisticated now. And I know you've experienced it with your own robot, where something delicate is encountered in a way that it doesn't break it, it doesn't suck it up, it makes a note of it, and it works its way around it. And so you could have things of caution in your house now on the floor. You can have shoelaces without having to worry about them getting sucked up by the brushes.
Not really.
Well, I mean, this is all right. Use it as a metaphor. The idea is, though, that the better the mapping, the more precise the vacuuming can be. And now you take a company like Amazon buying iRobot, and what they've got really is connections to all the devices in your house, plus a floor plan of what your house is. you're running your security through Amazon, your cameras, your doorbell, your messaging, and now there's a floor plan of your house through Amazon. It
Great.
That's the they that has it now. The great almighty cloud of Amazon, which we hope we're trusting with our data. I mean, I've trusted Amazon with a lot of my data, but it's like apparently it's going to be all of it. apparently Amazon's going to have everything, health records to vacuum floor plans. They're going to have everything. Security, camera footage from in front of my house. Go ahead.
Amazon yesterday alerted me to the fact that something I'd put in my wish list on Prime Day and decided not to buy is now on sale, drastically reduced. So now I bought it. So I'm glad that Amazon tracks me every so often. And they this morning they told me 3 things are in my wish list, and they're all on sale today.
If they're tracking me, they have a lot of fake news.
They have a lot of fake news. Well, it's interesting. It's a weird area that we're in because it makes sense for Amazon to own a company like iRobot at this point. But with all of the Internet of Things stuff, it's just going to mesh right into their whole ecosystem. So from a technical standpoint, it makes sense for them to be merging these technologies together. From a security standpoint, Amazon, you have put all your eggs in one basket. We're actually reaching a point where we need to have some competitors out there. There's been this concept in security for years, ever since I was in school, where the reason that you need Macintosh, Linux, and Windows is diversity, so that the viruses can't take out one platform, so that you can have redundant systems in completely different frameworks, so that when the hackers bring down one framework, you have another one that's ready to pick up the slack and go. Having a what's it called? What's it called when everything's vanilla? When everything's the same thing? When you
Monochrome.
say that again. Monochrome.
Monochrome.
Well, what you've done is you've created a very vulnerable security attack surface where the same vulnerability can be used and blanketed. And all of a sudden, that's brought down, whatever that might be. I mean, it might be your email, or it might be your home security system, or it might be government servers. But there is this level of security that we derive because we do the same thing with completely different tools, and we encourage governments and organizations to use different tools for the same job, so that you can't bring down all the tools at the same time.
I'm going to buy an iRobot when it's not just vacuuming, but cooking.
Right? When
It's getting there. They mop and vacuum. So maybe laundry will be next and then cooking.
Well, I'm kind of anxious about windows. We have a lot of windows on the second floor of our house. I would just love to be able to get one on there to clean it, because those windows hard to get cleaned on the outside.
Drones are pretty good now.
Well, maybe that's my next goal.
I feel like we have robot window cleaners.
It costs more than silly things like this.
I think you can get chemicals that you can mix with water.
Oh, yes.
And not stain it.
Yeah, and the chemicals are designed to be good on the paint too. But then you have to take and use a squeegee, which is really hard to reach up to the second floor with a squeegee. So
we
I'm,
had,
guys-
I'm all for something else doing the work.
we had
This is on
chemicals that
Amazon.
you use in the shower in the motorhome that you just sprayed it on there, maybe won't, then you didn't have to squeegee it.
Mom,
Oh, what's the name of that chemical?
I've forgotten it.
Come on, Chester.
are you
Come
are you
on.
guys looking at my screen, Mom? Here's your
Yes.
robot window cleaner.
Jeez.
$479.
How much?
$479.
Maybe I need to go fund me.
It
How does
climbs
it-
the
how does it
window
work?
and cleans the glass.
Oh my gosh.
Scroll back up.
I'll
See-
stick with my window washer. He comes every quarter for $100.
Okay, well, that's what, 5 window cleanings?
Right? Just not
I
not
get
quite
4
5.
window cleanings
Oh,
a
less
year.
than.
2 window cleanings a year, excuse me. One in the spring and one near the winter
Ooh, there's
after
a
the summer
video.
rain. Hey
Well, I
Sandy,
guess-
are you down here or are you up in Alaska?
Oh, I'm up where there's reasonable weather.
We've got some wild weather down here, Rochester.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have a storm a day.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
we've
We
had
haven't
one
had one
come
for a
through
couple
last
days.
night. We've
You
been
recommend-
watching what's going on there. It's messy. Very messy. Sorry about that.
We've had just lots of rain. Look at that. He sets it on the window and lets it
Okay.
go. Are you guys watching that?
Oh yeah.
But how do you set it on the outside of a 3rd story? I don't get it.
Does it need a
There's-
really long
there's-
extension cord?
Oh, that's interesting. No, I'm sure it uses battery.
Okay.
I bet they've got an attachment, Cheryl, like a selfie stick, so you can bump it up to the 2nd floor and then release it.
Oh, must have.
Oh, look at
My
that.
My vacuum is cleaning the hallway as we speak. Oh, he just went around the
We're
I haven't talked to them about windows.
look at that. It makes you look like we're really living in the future.
Yeah.
There's
you
your
can drink
extension
wine while
cord
they're
for it.
washing your windows.
Speaking about living in the future, did everybody realize that George Jetson was born last week?
No,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
There was a comment on Facebook that was a picture of his ID at one of the episodes, and his birthday was on there for, I think it was July 31st, 2022. So, and our iRobot that vacuums, her name is Rosie, after the robot on the Jetson.
Oh, cute. Ours is called Oscar.
Oh, look at, she's called a Hobot.
Hi guys, Johnny Kaplan
Oh,
here again
my.
with another Gadget Flow unboxing video in partnership with the Corey Group.
You're absolutely right. That's exactly what she's called.
Oh, well, that's what you can call them now. Hey, you're a Hobot.
Hobot.
heard of
You might be
heard
able to get your husband to buy that for you if you just tell him what it's called.
Oh, yeah, I'll ask him.
Really expensive Hobot.
Yeah. I don't know, that looks really impressive. That's very, very interesting. I guess
Maybe those girls behind Bill are Hobots.
Be careful, dear.
Well, she's posing in her bathing suit.
And here I thought that was Cheryl.
All right, according to fans, George Jetson's birthday was July 31st.
Okay,
Just
July
FYI.
31st.
So can we go back to the robot thing?
Oh yeah.
So what kind of robots do you have and what do you recommend? Because I do not have one.
I have the Eufy.
Oofy?
Yeah, the EUFY.
Okay.
And they have a
Cheryl?
back, they have a back and a washer in one unit now. I
Shark.
just have the back. I love it.
I got it,
Now-
Cheryl. Shark.
And then I just close the door. I run mine at I said between Sunday and Monday at 3:00 it runs in the morning. So Sunday night, we just close the doors we don't want it to go into. And you have to pick up the cords off the floor. And that's all we do.
So does it go over throw rugs and all that stuff?
Yeah, I have it. It goes on my big throw rug and I have shaggies on it.
Oh, and that works.
I just
And if I
couldn't
don't
see
want
the-
it to go on the shaggy, then I just roll up the ends, you know.
It just seemed like more trouble than it was worth to have to pick
Oh,
up
no,
things off the floor and all that stuff.
It's
You know,
worth
it really depends on your lifestyle. I'm sorry, Linda, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but like I wanted to help Sid out, and so I brought a robot over to his place, and just because of the way he lives, it was perfect. The robot just ran around. I'd pick something up occasionally, but because of the kind of furniture he had and the way he stacks stuff, the robot didn't get stuck on anything. It just ran through and did a great vacuuming on everything. The
And
bed and
what
breakfast
kind
here.
was that?
I'm sorry.
What kinds are these? I was asking.
Well,
for
this
basic
is just a
recommendations.
basic iRobot, one of the dumb ones you'd buy at Costco. It doesn't map your. It's not Wi-Fi enabled. It doesn't map your living room. It actually uses a bit of fuzzy logic. It's got these very basic instructions on how to clean that have to do with when it runs into things and how much distance between things.
It's just called iRobot. It's not a shark.
Well, Shark is another
iRobot
brand.
is a bot.
Yeah, iRobot is one company. Shark's another company.
Oh,
and
ours is
under
Costco.
iRobot, it's a Roomba. In this case, I think it's a 650 series.
I think it's one of their first ones, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not one of their first
It's
ones,
really
but it's
old.
definitely been around for a long time. We've replaced the batteries in them at least 3 times.
And
So-
brushes.
Yeah, so it's probably
Occasionally.
almost 6 years old.
Yeah, well, I have extra brushes you can put on. And then usually, like today, I'll clean the cup out and get it ready for next Sunday.
Mhm.
It goes underneath our recliner chairs. It goes underneath the sofa. I just pull all my chairs out so it'll go like under my dining room table good.
We have a similar one in our place as we've got here at the bed and breakfast, and Judy, it's really about how you lay out your furniture and your lifestyle of keeping fragile things off of the floor, keeping shoelaces tucked away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can put tape down and it won't go over the tape.
Well, now
If you don't want it.
This is where you get into the more sophisticated units. Mine would go right over tape. Yeah, there's mine will get caught up in cables sometimes, but it's got a cable algorithm. It'll back out of cables if it can. And as you get a more sophisticated one, that stuff is just not a problem. I've heard Bill and Cheryl talk about how theirs will find clothing and leave it alone, laying on the floor. Whereas mine might ride right up on the clothing like it's a mound and then get stuck in the mound. And somebody would have to come and release it from the mound of clothing.
You mean it doesn't pick it up and hang it?
Yeah, I'm waiting for that one too.
Not yet. I want that one too.
We need one to fold laundry.
We are 2 minutes away from this meeting shutting down, and I'm just amazed at how easily that I can move over here. I'm ready to start at any moment. I'm on the new computer.
Yay.
Got a new computer. Oh, good.
Yes, I got one of these Mac Minis with the M1 chip, and it is giving me plenty of computer.
Great.
Okay, well, I won't be coming back onto the computer. I need to go somewhere. So
Well, we'll miss you, Linda. Did you have any
Say goodbye.
recommendations? No? All right.
What?
Well, I asked if you had any recommendations. It's probably your recommendation is check out Google Lens and spend some time using it for searching.
Yep. Yep.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, and our call is closing right now, so I'll meet you all over on the other side. Oh my God, this is working so well. It's making me realize I'm not going to be able to do this at Tequila's when we go back to in-person meetings. I'm going to need a new computer for that. This is great. This is great. I got so much computer. Everything's working so well. I was told earlier not to jinx it, but I can't help but be excited. It's all working.
Your house must be quiet this morning, Scott.
Oh, you have no idea. It's just me and Emily again.
I'm curious, none of my business, but how has your summer been after COVID?
It's different. We've turned off the top floor of my parents' house, so there's rooms there that we're not renting, and we're not doing hot breakfast. We might have talked about this before. We're not doing hot breakfast. We're providing to-go breakfast, to-go style breakfasts for our guests. But everybody's been really positive about it. And if you mean as far as our occupancy,
The volume, your occupancy.
yeah, we are probably, because we turned off rooms and because we've just restarted this year. We're probably at about 2/3 what we would normally expect, which is much better than we were expecting, given that we're kind of just doing it by the seat of our pants this season. We didn't do any big promotional stuff. We didn't have rooms out there online long before the season. And we've had a lot of bookings that were just kind of last minute, like a week before people were going to get here, making bookings with us. And I get the impression that's the way a lot of people are traveling right now. We did have, we had 3 big bookings canceled so far this season, specifically because of COVID. And one of those bookings was the tail end of a cruise. That the whole cruise was canceled because of COVID-related issues, whether it was staffing issues or concerns about being infected or having gotten infected and having to cancel the trip. We've had 3 big bookings, and that's not a lot to have canceled. I mean, we were relying on those large bookings. So we were disappointed that they were gone, but really when you have 3 cancellations that are notable, that's a good number for us, because typically we have so many people coming that we would have more than 3 cancellations. And that's my update from the walkabout.
It works better for us to have our section not expecting to be part of the bed and breakfast. We're to an age now, you can't depend on us to be dressed or fed or hair combed half the time. So it saves us a lot of panic when we go out, forgetting we're a bed and breakfast and guests see us in our underwear. That's not good.
Nah. Well, and really, given where we are with COVID, it just doesn't feel right to encourage people to come into a room and share space and eat breakfast together like that. It just seems like a recipe for an accident. And the last thing we would want is a story out there on the internet where a guest caught COVID at our business. That just wouldn't do us very well at all. And so we've actually really appreciated it. Mom and Dad are appreciating having this space and freedom. And I don't have to worry about, I feel like we've taken all the precautions to make sure that they don't get COVID. And, you know, Mom and Dad are some of the few people we know that have not got COVID yet. So this is also very...
Pick me.
Esther, Cheryl, Bill... You guys are doing a good job. The majority of people have gotten a case of COVID at some point over the last 2.5 years.
We're booked for a COVID booster on Thursday. So it's been...
Which one will this be?
Technically, it's our second booster, but it's my 5th shot because it took 3 to get fully. And then I had 1 booster February 1st, and now the second booster. So
good for you.
It's 6 months since the last time I had a booster shot. And there are people around here that have COVID.
I think what we're going to see in businesses like ours and others is that this is just the way we're reshaping stuff. The way we're going to behave is just slightly different. The breakfasts have really worked out for our guests, whether they've been concerned about gathering socially or not. So much so that it's hard for me to imagine we'll go back to doing breakfasts the way we had in the past. This is safer and it's more convenient. It's kind of a win-win for everyone. We've got guests that don't even eat as breakfast. They go out to breakfast and they take what we've given them and use that as a lunch as they're on their way to Denali or Kenai doing their adventure. So it's an amenity to our services that we'd never considered before at this scale. We've always provided a bagged breakfast for people that needed to leave early, but making it a focus of what we're doing, we've never done before.
It's nice to be able to make breakfast in the evening to go or whatever, like to be able to get ahead of it instead of having to wake up and turn on the cooker,
You're absolutely right. It's actually done wonders for my relationship too, because what we were doing is we were taking turns getting up early and cooking breakfast for guests, and so Yuya and I would just see each other. She'd go to bed early and get up early. Next night, I'd go to bed early and get up early. We felt like we'd hardly ever see each other.
Not good.
Yeah, so this has been really nice because somebody makes breakfast in the evening, sets up bags and brings them, distributes them. And in the mornings are for us to wake up slowly. Everybody, even Mom and Dad, everybody can just take it easy in the morning.
Cool.
A win-win for everyone.
Yes.
Well, do we have other tech topics? I have in the document stuck a link to one of those Amazon articles. I did not read it, but it's specifically geared towards the privacy experts saying the most dangerous and threatening acquisition in the company's history, which is a funny thing to say about buying a vacuum cleaner company. But they are a robot company. That's something to be said. Skynet is on its way. I keep joking that I'm ready for the robots to take over. I'm sick of the people that are making decisions, and I just want a computer to do it now. So,
but we got to have the 3 laws of robotics.
That's right. That's right. Do no harm. Do no harm.
Is the last one do no harm?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
Can't harm themselves or others or humans. Must always be what is the third one? I don't remember.
God, I don't remember, Scott. I just remember the book.
3 laws of robot. Robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey orders given to it by a human being, except when such orders would conflict with the first law. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Wise words from a wise guy.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting? They have to write that down for other people to see, which means that if that's true of these robots, that they can be held back from that kind of harm, then it's equally true that they can be turned into killing machines.
Oh, yeah. If you don't follow these laws, that's the concern. Isaac Asimov.
But the robots don't know.
Set up these laws for his book. His book series.
Robots don't kill people, just like guns.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not even the guns; it's the bullets.
Yeah.
Well said. I didn't kill him. I just shot him. The bullet killed him.
The bullet killed him. That's right.
Sounds a bit Trumpian.
I've always liked that. I think it was Chris Rock that first turned me on to the concept of just make bullets incredibly expensive. If bullets, I mean, if it cost you $500 a bullet, you'd really think about who you were going to shoot before you shot him. You probably even like have to go retrieve the bullet, right? Because you paid a lot for it.
No, they'd steal them.
No, they make their own.
Or steal them, yeah.
Well, regardless, it would still be much more inconvenient than walking into the Walmart and buying them. What else do we have? I'm putting the Law of Robotics into our document. I stuck it in our chat too, if you guys are interested. Isaac Asimov is the one that came up with it for his book series. I'm having trouble remember which. Is it iRobot that he came up with it? I think it's iRobot.
It was iRobot.
The biggest challenge for robots is military, and that can be quite significant as it gets developed. You may find a time when humans do not fly warbirds.
Right. Well, you know, I think you might have heard my opinion on the new Top Gun movie. I thought it was a great example of why we have drones. It was an awesome movie, but they spent a lot of money and moved a lot of expensive equipment and did special training, and people put their lives in jeopardy. And the entire mission could have just been done with drones. There was no reason to put anyone in harm's way.
That's the way it's going.
Yeah, I mean,
getting practical again.
Yeah, that latest attack on Al Qaeda was quite the drone strike, basically.
Yep. Oh,
apparently they used some type of an armament that didn't hurt anyone else.
Yeah.
And I think it must have been knives or something, that a spray of knives, but it didn't hurt anyone else.
Yeah.
Just him.
Was anybody else surprised to find out they had missile knives? I had no idea they had missile knives.
Well, I saw a meme the other day that said basically he was killed with a great big slap chop.
What is a slap chop?
That's they used to be as seen on TV. The guy that's he's slapping the top of it and chopping up stuff inside this thing. It's called a slap chop.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And that's basically what this is. It's a slap chop on the front of a missile.
But it was something different, and I would be interested in finding out what that is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Point of entry.
They'll tell you, Chester, but then they have to kill you.
Right.
Well, I'd sure like to know more about it because the media makes it seem like it was able to identify the specific target, ignore other targets within the vicinity, and then because it didn't have an explosion, it didn't have I don't know what the word is, but it didn't have anything that was going to ignite on impact. It just had these knives. It just basically shredded this guy.
With the pictures they show of the house, which I would imagine were taken afterwards, it showed no damage to the house.
Yeah, it's just amazing and a little. I don't know, knife bombs. This is crazy.
Chester,
It's
Chester,
got to be.
it's called a Hellfire, one word, R9X missile. That you Google that, you'll get you to it.
Won't it be exciting when our enemies have something similar to this that we have to worry about?
Interestingly, we have apparently using armaments in that war that Russia doesn't have, which is surprising to me.
How long will it take for them to get it?
I don't think they can afford it. They're in pretty bad
They
shape.
have to make up their own, won't they?
Knife bomb. This is their slang for it. Knife bomb. Crazy. I'm putting in I just put in a link to a Business Insider article that talks about the knife bomb. I'm sticking it in our document too.
Is he going in the water?
Oh, Bill, you're drowning.
Yeah, it is interesting to see the kind of things that they're giving the Ukrainians
Oh, yeah.
to work with, because they're not obviously giving them the top things because they don't want them to lose them to the Russians, because of course the Russians could then clone them. But it's kind of an interesting thing that they're just giving them enough to get ahead of the Russians, but not the whole 9 yards.
Jim, are you saying the Ukrainians don't have knife bombs?
I can bet you're hippy on that.
I can't remember the name of the device that they have on the truck. I think we've given them 10 and they want 50. But that's a device that Russia does not have.
No, that's right. Yeah, and that's how they're holding them off right now. I think the idea is they're just giving them enough to just sort of come to a stalemate almost,
I think they're giving them enough not to lose.
Yeah, that's it. Stalemate, I guess, is the best that can come out of not losing.
You sure are making them work hard.
I can't leave the knife bomb concept, though. Do you think that kind of weaponry might end up being used in our civil society? I mean, if they're able to take a weapon and send it off after a very specific person with it doing so little damage except to the person, I don't know. That sounds to me like something that might end up in law enforcement at some point.
Maybe it
Go
should.
after certain legislators too. Well, in Arizona, one of the governor hopefuls is having to have all around security. She has ever since she fought that special what was it with the recount, since was fighting the recount. They had to not only do special security for her, but for her extended family too, because she was so badly threatened and still is. Why would you want to run for governor if you were threatened? I don't know, but bless her heart, she is. Her name's Katie Hobb, in case you hadn't heard of it.
And they got to run, because then only people that aren't threatening are in the government.
It's a terrible thing when you start to scare some people out of the social milieu, because once they're pariahs, then they obviously see us as the other.
That can't be a political move to scare people out of politics.
No,
but it does.
People don't make always the best things. I keep seeing that 35 a month for insulin, and there's 35 million people who need it, and the Senate turned it down. You know, I think some senators are going to have a talking to by some of their constituents on that one.
Hey, on that respect, and to bring it back to tech topics, have you guys heard about this open source insulin? I don't know if we've talked about it before, but there is a group out there that's been working on an insulin that, yeah, it's called Open Insulin. Here it is right here. The Open Insulin Foundation. And what they're doing is they're putting together recipes for making your own insulin so that people don't have to be subjected to these ridiculously high costs. Insulin apparently is a substance that is something that you could theoretically make yourself, and it's been around for a long time and costs very little to actually produce. And so just by having this kind of project has made it so very clear how ridiculous it is to have these huge costs for a drug that's been around for so long. I'll stick this in our document. But if you're interested in this, these people are really working towards an insulin that people can make for themselves. At the very least, maybe make for yourselves is a little bit too aspirational, but you could easily have a lab in a community that is making insulin for their citizens at a much reduced rate than pharmaceutical companies charging people for. And if you had nonprofit like clinics that had the equipment and the know-how, they could be going into areas and producing and supplying insulin to people. The Open Insulin Foundation. It's I find it interesting how some of this stuff, like that, like the goal to get insulin capped at $35 fell apart, but at the exact same time, there's people working on, well, if that's going to be the case, or like what happened with Kansas and the the abortion rights, women to have control over their bodies. How Kansas is just made sure that, okay, you're not going to have a federal standard. We're going to set the standard in our state. And it's just amazing how this stuff kind of happens. I'm putting open insulin in our document. Have we got other tech topics for today? We've been going now for a little over an hour, and some would say that would be our meeting. But if there's nothing else to bring up, we did have some recommendations. Cheryl's been writing movies and shows, but Judy's not with us. But at the beginning of the meeting, she was recommending an application to us that I can't wait to try called Merlin. And the point of the app is that it is an identifier for birds based on their song. So you can bring your mobile out while you're around birds, and you can use this application to listen to the birds, and it will Google and bring back to you the species that you're listening to. And I thought, what a cool thing for people that aren't birders, that don't want to put any real time into this, but are curious. And they're out on a walk in the park, and they're just curious what bird that is that's singing to them. And so it's Merlin, spelled like the wizard, Merlin. And it's a bird ID application.
And when I searched for it in the App Store, they came up with their own, with an ad. But then Merlin Bird ID by Cornell.
Oh, that's right. It's by the university. By Cornell University. Thank you, Cheryl.
Please enter your email address to use this free app. But there is an option to skip, which I did.
Merlin Bird ID. Oh, I'm in the App Store, but I don't see who it's by. Oh, I see the ad you're talking about. Next Vision. Don't listen to me about Next. It's the second one down. It's under the app in the iStore or in the Apple Store, the Apple App Store, called Merlin Bird ID by Cornell Lab.
And there's lots of things that you can do. Like as soon as I went start Bird ID, it says you can download a package of things that'll, you can put comments in and you can see other people's comments. Get a photo ID. Photo ID help for over 8,000 species. All these other things are things that you have to download. So I'm having a hard.
Hey, did you notice you
Cheryl?
can skip the email?
Linda uses it and likes it. You can check with her.
Oh, okay.
Browse bird packs. ID. Oh, wow. Very cool.
Okay, cool.
I know there's a dove in our neighborhood that I'd certainly like to kill.
Knife bombs. Missile knives.
That bird must have really ticked you off, Chester.
Yeah, it's every morning, and it just keeps going and going and going.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Well,
the
I
app
see Cheryl's
The app asked me if I wanted to use my location. I said only when using the app. And the first thing it showed me was the likely birds in your area. And Canada goose came in as the first one likely. And we've got a couple and 3 of their young ones in our front yard. So I think
right now
it knows what it's talking about.
Oh yeah, mine said for Anchorage, Alaska, get the Alaska map. And there's a US-Canada map too to get. Ooh, that's big. Just for a bird pack, huh? That's 1.5 gigabytes for the entire US-Canada map. Is there a Mexico map? Argentina, Australia, Bolivia. Yeah, all of Mexico. That's at 1.5 gigs as well.
So it's 3 gigs for the 3 countries.
Yeah.
Wow.
I found one called Who's Singing? I can't find. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I did get it. I did find the right one. Okay.
You know what's interesting is you can get the Alaskan pack for 0.5 gigabyte, or Alaska with the United States for 1.5 gigabytes. So a third of the US pack in Canada, yeah, because that's a US-Canada pack. A third of the US-Canada pack is the Alaskan map. That's how big we are.
That's how big we are.
Big we are. So Cheryl, you typed in some movies on this.
Oh, yeah. Gold. I saw the ad for it and I thought this looks kind of interesting. And I think I can't remember who's in it, but it's Man 1 and Man 2, is the name of the characters. Australian outback, pictures of Ayers Rock in the background and things like that. And it's a story about survival and some very, 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 very mean and wicked people. It was spooky. It was yucky. It was upsetting. Greed and all the things that can go wrong. And so then I decided I need something light and fluffy. So I watched one called The Wedding Season, which was East Indian family that wants their daughter to marry well and all this, and another male whose parents want him to be married. And anyways, it was a cute little rom-com, I guess you call it, romantic comedy. That's kind of fun. And then I started a series last night. It's an eight episodes in a series, and it's called In From the Cold.
In From the Cold.
It's a spy movie, modern times, but it's got a sci-fi element because the spy can morph biometrically into different people.
What was the name of the movie?
In From the Cold.
In from the Cold.
Wait, was that a movie or a series?
Sorry, no, it's a mini series.
Miniseries.
In From Cold. I haven't heard of it.
I just saw it last night and I thought, oh, I'll give this one a try. And of the 8, I watched
it's
4.5
new,
last night.
and it's on
Must be
Netflix.
good.
Yeah, this is Netflix.
Came out January 28th. Boy, I haven't heard of it at all. I don't know. I'm going to add it to my list, though. That sounds like stuff I would enjoy.
Yeah, your family might like that one. Em might like it too. It's a mother-daughter situation, and yeah, it's kind of nice.
Good.
Well, I have a movie recommendation. We went to go see... oh my gosh, can I even remember the name of it now? Hold on, somebody else go first. I'll remember in a second.
Okay, we watched one that Scott recommended. We watched it last night. I think it's just called 13. Has anybody?
Oh yeah, the Amazon Prime movie.
I
Yeah.
saw it advertised, and a friend said that they really enjoyed it, based
Yeah.
on a true story of the soccer boys. Yeah.
It is. It's really good. I just think it would be better to see it in the big screen because the camera has to get in so close. I don't know. It's like you want to see the whole thing, the whole cave kind of thing. At least I did. I still enjoyed it on our TV, but I think I would really like it on a big screen.
Okay.
Acting was good. Everything was good about it. Find it, Scott?
Yeah, I did. And yeah, I thought 13 was great. I should have remembered that one as well, but yeah, you beat me to it. 13 was what I liked about 13 is it was very analytical, I felt. It wasn't over dramatized, and we got to learn just how involved volunteers were. I just didn't understand that throughout that whole instance, was how you've got these cave divers that get called when these kinds of things happen, and they're on a list because there's only a handful of people that are expert at that kind of a rescue situation. Uh-oh, I have lost my internet connection.
Went
Oh
to
my
the
gosh.
theater and watched.
Oh, maybe he'll come back in time to tell us. I don't know.
No, I just watched my internet disappear and come back. I don't know what that was about. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
you're
really
fine
weird.
now.
It just... And now I'm back.
Did you remember the movie?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I got two. One's really easy. Bullet Train. Absolutely joyful, fun movie. A lot of violence, but it's funny humor. I saw an interview. I was trying to figure out what I could compare it to, and I saw an interview with Brad Pitt, and it's his movie. He compared it to a Jackie Chan film, and I think that's very appropriate because there's a lot of humor in the action. The action comedy is probably the way to think of it. This new Bullet Train, lot of fun. Bullet Train. And the one I was trying to remember is called Vengeance. And I don't know if you guys have heard. This is a new movie by B.J. Novak. He was involved in The Office. He played a character, but he also wrote and directed a lot of the episodes of the TV show The Office. So he's got this very kind of deadpan, kind of this cold kind of way of approaching humor. And this movie was no different. It's a story of a woman has died, and she's from she's from a family that doesn't seem that bright, maybe like redneck or hillbilly kind of family, and they are convinced that she died, she was murdered. And he is involved in it because he hooked up with her a couple of times, and her family thinks that he is the love of her life, and has to call and explain to him that she has died, and needs him to come back for the funeral. He barely remembers this girl, and that's where a lot of this humor comes from. Is him. He ends up not saying no to these people. They're so insistent. He ends up there, staying at their house, and learns that they believe that she was murdered, even though he doesn't believe it at all, and uses it as inspiration for a podcast. And so that it's a dramatic comedy. There's some twists in it that really add to the story, but it's this kind of deadpan comedy, very serious thing going on, and all the funny stuff that happens because of it.
I've seen the trailer for it, and it looks great, but a little bit of it reminds me of Murders in the Building, with the the deadpan and the different things. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look for that one.
Yeah, I think it's totally worth it. Yuya thought it was hilarious.
It's VENGEANCE. Vengeance. Oh, okay.
Vengeance, yes. In the trailer, I think I'm not spoiling anything by that. Her brother is convinced that she's been murdered, and invites him to seek vengeance. And he decides he's going to do a podcast, which will be better because it will focus and bring light to the issue. So
we took a break and watched Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind.
That's a great way to waste a day.
4 hours long.
Yeah.
Chester, when I graduated from high school in 1974, and we had an all-night party. We had a dance that went till about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. We had places we could sleep in the school, a gym, and all this if you wanted to sleep. And in the theater, we had a theater in our high school. They were running the movie Gone with the Wind. So for 4 hours, we could, the night went by quickly, I think.
Well, over time, as so much of it, and particularly at my age, you forget so much. And so you can watch last month and enjoy it again.
Yep. That's so
It's
true.
like kids with their cartoons, right? Better if you know what's coming.
What's her maid's name?
Bitsy?
Missy? City?
Missy,
I believe.
Misty? Yeah, something like that. Anyways, you just said Gone with the Wind, and yeah.
There were two.
Yeah, but the little one where she would talk to herself, and she was supposed to be helping with the baby. I never birthed no baby, And yeah, that's so scene. I just love it.
I think didn't she win an Academy Award for that, and they wouldn't give it to her during the ceremony because she was Black? I think that he was the first Black woman to win an Academy Award, but she gets very little recognition for it.
There's been a lot of criticism of both of them by the Black community because of what they portrayed in the movie.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it again because I had forgotten so much of it. I knew what the ending was, but anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you're going to walk around saying fiddly dee.
Fiddly dee. Yeah.
Things will be better in the morning. Yeah.
Being from Texas, a lot of those comments were common.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mind me, I'm just reveling in the fact that I'm able to do all of this. I'm already adding these to the list. Like, yeah.
Here he goes again.
I'm doing
He's
it
gonna
again.
go again, guys.
It's
He's
all
gonna
gonna
stop in mid-word.
It's all gonna just
crash
blow
on
up
you.
in my face in just 30 seconds.
Should we quit now?
We probably
gonna say
should.
goodbye.
We are reaching the end. If anybody else has any recommendations or anything else, or forever until Tuesday, hold your peace.
I don't recommend ever falling down and kissing a cement manhole cover.
Oh, Cheryl, I'm so sorry to
My
hear about that.
recommendation.
Is that what?
Sounds
Is that you've hurt your face?
Actually, Bill karate chopped me, but no,
Oh.
I fell.
I was going to ask, but I'm too
Yeah.
Canadian. Yes.
The swelling has gone
Canadian
down.
for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, the things we do. I recommend standing upright at all times.
Did you damage? Did you do any damage?
Yeah, we're
Not,
assessing
not
it.
to the cement. The cement's fine.
Oh, how about the cover? Did she bend the cover?
She moved it.
Whoa, those are heavy things.
I've moved a couple of teeth, and they're not sure if after the swelling goes down, if I might have to have some repair done. And then it was so swollen Saturday and Sunday, and I was on a lot of Tylenol. But today's day 4. Yesterday was very ouchy, big ice pack on the face, but we'll see.
Cheryl, that sounds just terrible.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
Accidents happen.
Yep, I gotta go.
we gotta go too. So until next Tuesday, tech on.
Okay.
All right,
Go
everybody.
on.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Mom. Well, that was it, and it actually was very successful. Sorry about the only thing that's bothering me with OBS right now is that I am scared to touch certain things like moving scenes around, stuff like that. But it seems to have streamed well. We had 2 blocks of internet that disconnected and then reconnected. I think that might be internet having nothing to do with the new Mac. This worked great. Took me a little while to get it set up this morning, but I got my scenes. Everything seems to be flowing. I can't wait till there is a OBS version that's compiled natively for M1. Until next week. You guys have a great week. Oh, and let me say, this is International Computer Solutions. Scott, if you're looking for help out there on the internet, well, I mean, I'm here to help. So get a hold of me, scott@internationalcs.net. I will remotely access your computer and help you help you with solutions. What we do. iPhones, Androids, Windows, Linux, Macintosh, whatever you have, I'm sure I can give you a hand. Shout out. And if you like what we've done here with the Computer Club, well, check out our website. It's scclub.org. Kind of like, which direction do I point? Show it on the. Yeah, right there. Right. scclub.org. We're on Twitter too. You guys have a good day. Until next Tuesday, tech on.